Good evening. Welcome to the Newfane Selectboard meeting on September 16th. It is 6:03. We'd like to welcome everyone. We have myself, Angela Litchfield, Ann Golob, Katie Johnson-Aplin, and we'll go ahead and get started. Has this meeting been properly warned? It has. I've posted everything where it needs to go. Additions and amendments to the agenda. We have Kate Garrett who would like to talk about the school board business under new business, and Anne would like to do a housing presentation under old business that we've already been previously discussing. Is everyone okay with that?
Yes.
Great. And then we'll move into the approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
Which one are we doing?
The September 3rd.
I make a motion to approve.
We can't do that because Katie was absent for those, so we'll table those when we'll table the other ones.
Sure.
Because Katie was absent for those as well. So those will be tabled till the next meeting. And with that, good evening, Jay. We'll go with the road foreman and commissioners report. Thank you for sending that to me.
The box culvert on Depot Road is mostly completed. The guardrails are expected tomorrow. This project, just for your information, was started in March of 2018.
Wow.
And it's happening. Good job.
And as soon as the paperwork is all finished, I can't wait to file these 6-inch deep files away.
Sure.
The culvert on Depot Road near Duke Road was paved today. I may need to have them come back and do a little more. It's still got a little bump to it, so I'll kind of keep an eye on that. Adams Hill Bridge insurance claim has nothing new to report. I had high hopes for the new adjuster and no answers whatsoever from my emails. Has anybody ever contacted the Commissioner of Banking and Insurance?
No.
No.
Who? Commissioner?
For the Adams Hill Bridge?
Yeah, I've had people tell me that can be a good way to get things moving. Is the Commissioner of Insurance has a lot of clout over these insurance companies.
I will take that and ask Juanetta to look into it and get that done when she gets back into the office.
The paving on Grimes Hill Road and in South Newfane Village should start this week. I believe Wednesday, weather permitting.
Is it going to be a whole road closure or no?
Nope, they'll have the road open. Just be delays.
Okay.
And the culvert on Loop Road is going to start later this week.
Your papers went to Bob Fisher today.
They called. They're missing one more thing, which they're taking care of. So.
Okay. Well, if I need to deliver anything else, let me know.
Okay. And the borings in the gravel pit are expected to be done next week. I believe the 23rd or 4th is what they were talking.
Great.
So maybe this year?
Uh-huh.
For
And
submission?
Maybe.
and the $300 dig safe fee that irritated me, they couldn't get rid of because the boring company insists upon doing it themselves. And like, whatever.
Well, that's too bad.
Even though DigSafe won't come out because they just can do the whole site from their computer, the boring company goes out, marks it, and then I assume it's just to cover they maybe got burned somewhere, I don't know, but they're going to go out and mark it, and then DigSafe's just going to sit at a computer and okay the whole 21 acres. So, but
Right.
That's the way it works.
Well, thanks for looking into that.
Yep.
Is there a motion to approve the road foreman and commissioners report?
I make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Discussion? We kind of went through and did discussion, but
Yeah.
anybody have anything else?
No.
Is Grimes Hill, or sorry, not Grimes Hill, is Depot Road having more paving done as well? Is that the plan? Or just patchwork for the culverts?
Just patchwork.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's all.
Hearing none, all those in favor to approve the road foreman and commissioners report, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, ayes have it. Thank you so much. And with that, we will need a motion to go into executive session citing Title I VSA 313A3, the appointment or employment or evaluation of a public office or employee. Is there a motion?
I make a motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
Discussion? I would like to ask our two applicants if they could step outside on the front porch for a few moments while we have a conversation. And I'd like to invite Jay in, and then we'll bring you in one by one and have a chat. Is, all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained, ayes have it. All right, select board exited the executive session at 6:46 with a recommendation to make a motion to hire a new road crew employee.
I would make a motion to hire, Warren Roberts for our open position.
Second it.
Any discussion? Thank you both to applicants for applying. Interviews were really good. We appreciate you both coming in. Is there anything further? Jay? You're good?
I'll be calling both of them tonight.
Thank you. Hearing nothing further, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain? I'll abstain. Ayes have it. So you'll take care of the notifications. That's wonderful. I really appreciate that.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank
you. Moving right along.
Congratulations on having a new crew member.
Yes.
I think the first thing he's going to get to do is go out in the mower.
Mike Fontaine will like
It's
that.
finally cooled off.
Okay, we're gonna move right along. We do not have an administrative assistance report. Any committee reports? I think Kate is here for other business. Scheduled members of the public, we don't have any. Unscheduled, we don't have any. New business. Kate, that's you.
Spotlight's on you,
New
Kate.
business, welcome. It's good to have you here.
Hi, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that you all know and that any and everybody who's there knows about the upcoming West River Education District meetings to present a proposal to combine all of the districts pre-K to 5 classes in one school at what is now Newbrook, and those meetings are September 18th in Townsend, the 26th at Jamaica, and September 30th at Newbrook, all at 7 p.m. And I just wanted to, I don't know if Newfane's reps got that information to you all, but I want to make sure you have it and that we get it out to the town. I can send it to Winetta as well, that we let folks know.
Would
When
you
is the
repeat
one in
those
Newbrook?
dates I missed?
Yep.
Yeah.
September 18th is Townsend, is at Townsend Elementary School at 7. That's also by Zoom. So in person and by Zoom, they're all also by Zoom. September 26th at Jamaica Village School up in Jamaica. Also 7, also available by Zoom. And September 30th, there'll be a meeting at Newbrook, also at 7, also available by Zoom. And I think some number of board members will be at each of the meetings, and anyone can attend any of the meetings.
Do you have the Zoom link that you can email out to us?
Or even
I think I do. Yeah, I can make sure I get it to you all.
Oh, that would be amazing. Thank you.
I will get that to you all and to Juanetta, and we should just anyway, we can let folks know whether or not they have kids in school there now. We should just make sure people know as best we
I'll
can.
ask that she puts that on the website as well.
That would be really great. Thank you.
Just for our local Newfane people, September 30th is 2 weeks from tonight on a Monday evening.
We do not have a select board meeting.
Correct.
I think that was confirmed.
Combine the elementary schools, K through 5,
Yeah.
down to the Newbrook Elementary School.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for all of that important information. Anybody who wants to be there, please look out for all the information. I'm sure it will be put on Front Porch Forum. And I will get one or Bauman to put it on the website as soon as we get the information.
Great, thank you all.
I'm just writing to Bob and see if he's available to join us for the discussion of the website.
Okay, and then we will move right into old business, which is your housing presentation.
Okay, give me just half a second.
I do believe I did see that Lindsay had put that on Facebook, so
She
I'll
did.
see if I can re-find it and post it as well later. I'm not gonna do
I
it right
can't
now.
remember if I saw it and I can't remember if I did it.
I can put it in the.
Oh, actually, Kate, you have the presentation on your machine. Would you mind if we made you the host and if you put it up on Zoom? It would just save me from logging in.
Sure.
If you do it on the PDF,
Thank you, Austin.
do you want me to resend it?
No, I have the PDF if that's
Okay.
okay. I just I put my name on the slide, my slides, so I'll try and get ahead and delete them.
Oh, that's okay. That
You don't
doesn't
need
matter. Don't worry about that.
I think I must be a shared host now. There's somebody in. Does is it Austin from BCTV? Do you also are you also still controlling admitting people?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just making sure. Okay, let me go to 1 second, and let me just get this.
Thank you.
Central WCSU. Is that what it is? Wyndham Central Supervisory Union?
Bear with me 1 second. I'm just trying to make sure I can sort of show this as a slideshow. Half a sec. Forgive me, I'm just trying to see if I can do it so I can show one slide at a time in the PDF. Not my forte. Here we go. Okay.
Yay!
Yeah.
That looks beautiful.
Okay.
Anne, take it away. Just tell me when you want me to click forward.
So what we wanted to do today was go through a presentation that I think for those of us on the select board is a little bit redundant, but we'll go through those parts quickly. We just really wanted, especially for people in the town who might watch this, or if we give this presentation at another time, to sort of give people a good understanding of the development of our thinking over time. So that's why there's a lot of sort of preamble before we get to the guts of what our proposal is for creating a Newfane housing grant. And the reason that we're bringing it up to the select board today is twofold. One, to just get with the final definition of what this looks like, getting your approval. And then the second thing would be approval to take this to our lawyer to ask for his help in finalizing the documents that need to go along with this program. Okay, so I should say that these ideas have really been worked on extremely hard by the Planning Commission with Kate leading it. And so a lot of this, even though it's just Kate and I who are presenting it, it really is, it has the involvement of the Planning Commission. We presented this final document to them last week, and we have their sign off and agreement. So it feels like a very empty room to be presenting this to, but there actually are more people who are behind it and supportive of this idea. Mike, I know you're on the phone. If you're able to open your email, I sent this out this afternoon, so you could follow along if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So if you want to go to the next slide, Kate. So we just wanted to sort of give a preamble about the fact that we all know that Vermont has a serious housing shortage. As of August of this year, the state came up with the assessment that the state needs 24,000 new homes, which honestly, I was staggered that it was that much, but that is their assessment. And there are three main reasons why we got into such a difficult situation in the state. And honestly, this is a problem that is true throughout the country, but I'm going to go through the specific issues of what happened here in Vermont, many of which also happened in other states. So if you go to the next slide, we're in the first, and I'm sorry, it's hard to read this chart at a distance, but what this is showing is, as a percent, how much housing was built on the left in Vermont and on the right in Newfane, and it shows it in groups of years. And what you can see is the second to last bar, the brown one, that's just before COVID. So you can see that the amount of housing that was being built was already beginning to drop significantly. The last bar is since the beginning of COVID, and we know that nothing was getting built during that time period. So that's not a surprise. But I have to say, I was surprised by how much building had dropped off even prior to COVID. The next slide. This is showing the increase in second home ownership, both throughout the state, which is on the top, and in Newfane, which is on the bottom. So the charts very much mirror each other. This is a phenomenon that the state has often, built itself as trying to build tourism, and so having second homeowners has been important for the economy, but the growth in this in recent years has been significant, and that has taken so many homes off the market for full-time use.
I'm just going to step up so
Of
I can
course,
read the dates.
sure.
I apologize.
If we go to the next slide, and you have this in your email as well, Katie, because I sent it out. Yeah.
Just for place reference.
Yeah. And this shows the number of homes and this is entire homes, that have now become short-term rentals, so taking homes off the market. This does not include homes where they have just, let's say, one room or a part of their house that is being used for Airbnb or a similar company. Yep. This is only those where it is the entire home. And it shows how many homes were being listed on the registry. The chart is showing for every month. And you can see how much it has gone up on the left in Vermont. On the right, it's slightly covered up by where the images of folks are, but it also has gone up tremendously. And I think at the moment, it's 45 homes that are on the market for short-term rentals, where it's the entire home. So again, we can see how all of these things are creating the problem that we have.
I'll take it from here for the moment. So as you know, we've been feeling the pressure for a long time in the Planning Commission's 2021 poll about ARPA money. Housing was already a high priority for many Newfane residents. And as we know, the situation has continued to change pretty dramatically. So we spent a lot of time looking at things we can do as a small town to create more housing and make housing more accessible in Newfane. One thing we have worked on and is underway now is a revision to our zoning bylaw to modernize it. As you know, last year the town received a grant to work on this. We have been working with the Wyndham Regional Commission on changes that include decreased setbacks, changes in lot size, some changes to parking regulations, and the number of allowable units per lot, hoping to allow more housing on lots where it makes sense. We now think that our Planning Commission hearing will be at the end of October. We will confirm that date, hopefully, this week, but you can pencil in October 29th. Another idea that we've looked at a bit, and I know you all have looked at, is whether the town could develop new housing on town-owned properties. Right now, of the 18 lots that the town owns, I think most of them are, I understand most of them are FEMA buyback sites, which means there's going to be no new housing built on them by the requirements of the program, and also their location in flood hazard or flood prone zones. Another idea that we brought to you all that we worked on in quite a lot of depth in the Planning Commission was the idea of creating a revolving loan fund that we could lend money to property owners in Newfane to create new housing. We were really excited about it, and the gist of supporting property owners in Newfane and supporting renovations, additions, ways to create new units is really compelling. The details of administering a loan program seem like they present obstacles for us, and it has been challenging. As I think I reported to you before, I couldn't get so much as a call back from any of our local banks about helping us to administer that. And it would be a lot to put on the town to administer and manage. So we are here to present another idea that's really, I would say, sort of an evolution of the loan idea, and that is a grant to assist and incentivize current Newfane property owners who would like to or are in the process of creating new long-term rental housing. And the idea would be that we would use the money that you all put aside as we explored the possibility of a revolving loan fund for a grant program that can assist current community members, Newfane property owners, to create new long-term rental housing, or as Anne will describe, bring rental housing back into the market that has been off for one of several reasons. I'll hand it back to you, Anne.
Okay. So here's sort of the details of what we were thinking about in terms of the program. The idea is that we want to create more housing. We know that $150,000 when you talk about housing is nothing, but we are totally aware of that. But we do think that this is a way to incentivize people in the town to say, look, this is something that the town wants to see done, that we all know that we need. And here is an incentive, if this is something you're thinking about, that we can help you to make it less of a financial burden. And at the end of it, you'll have a stream of income, which would be extremely helpful. We'll also talk at the end about the idea of having a series of meetings to help people learn more about becoming a landlord if they're interested in doing so. The idea of the grants would be that there could only be one per property owner, and that the amount of the grant would range between $2,000 and $5,000 a year for up to 3 years. So again, I'll get into the details in just a minute, but someone could get over the 3 years, between $6,000 and $15,000. That would allow us, if let's say we had 10 people who wanted to do the largest houses, the largest apartments that we're talking about, it would allow us to create or help to incentivize the creating of 10 new units, which is nothing for a town like Newfane. It doesn't solve all of our problems. It doesn't, what it does do is it gives an incentive to help try to get housing on the market in the quickest way that we could figure out how to do it. So we felt like this was a real opportunity to try to expand our housing in a way that could get things available relatively quickly. Next slide. So who would be eligible? I'm sorry, I'm going to walk up now to try to read this because it is a little small. So the people who would be eligible is anyone from here in Newfane. You have to own your own property in order to apply for it. And the housing units must go to a year-round to someone who's gonna live here year round. So in no way do we wanna create more short-term rentals. We wanna see the long-term rentals being created. The way that the property is being created could be in any number of ways. It could be an ADU, which is an accessory dwelling unit, which means maybe you're building a separate, small structure at the back of your house. Maybe you're taking the space over your garage and making a apartment out of it. Maybe you're subdividing your house and making an apartment that way. The property owners, also if they have a short-term or part-time rental and want to convert it into a long-term residential, that would be applicable for this program. If someone has a rental unit that has been vacant for more than a year, for whatever reason, that they now would like to get back on the market but need some help in order to do so, they could apply for the program. And anyone who is returning an apartment to the rental market after evictions. We know that those are particularly tough situations, and so financial assistance could be a way to help get it back onto the market more quickly. Okay, next slide. So the ground payments, our idea was for a studio apartment, it would be $2,000 a year. Up to 3 years for $6,000, it would be $6,000. For a one-bedroom apartment, it would be $3,000 a year for up to 3 years, which would be a total of $9,000. And for a 2 or more bedroom apartment, it would be $5,000 a year. For up to 3 years, that would be $15,000. And on the bottom of this page, we have a definition of what the difference between a studio and a one bedroom. Basically, the difference is whether or not there are walls separating the one bedroom. Next slide. Back to you.
I'll talk a little bit about how we anticipate it could work, which is in 3 pretty simple steps. The first would be that folks who are interested, property owners who are fit in any of these categories, would register with the town, and that would be pretty simple information, anticipated, size and occupancy. And the idea is this will hold that property owner's place in the program, and we'll do that for up to 6 months. This will give us a sense of who's responding, and it will make sure that we reserve that money. We will talk to Katie Bristol about it, but we think this makes sense for the zoning administrator, to field these registrations. It should not be a huge amount of work, but it will be easiest for someone who is as familiar with the zoning bylaw as well as the kind of general landscape of Newfane properties. Once the registration is accepted, the zoning administrator will notify the select board, and then the idea is that the money for a 3-year period would be set aside, and then we'll be able to track the number of submitted registrations and kind of demand for the program. We know that with things like construction projects, not everything always goes as planned. So we kind of built in the idea that there could be extensions. We don't want all this money tied up for 5 years while people are figuring out projects, but we would anticipate that in a couple of cases there could be extensions if people need it to get a tenant in the door. Because the next step would be, once the registration is in and once then the unit apartment is ready, once there's it's ready for occupancy and there's a lease with a prospective long-term tenant, the property owner can come back to the town with the lease and a sworn verification by the tenant and by the property owner that the place has been rented. And then again, we anticipate that the zoning administrator would be the best person to accept this and go to notify the select board. And then the select board and the property owner effectively enter into a grant agreement, which is basically a contract. And the contract will specify the conditions that the property owner needs to meet to be paid once every 12 months for up to 3 years. And that condition is occupancy by a long-term tenant for the preceding 12 months. And then that also assures a property owner that if they comply with these conditions, they will receive the payment. Then the next step is after a year, if the unit has been occupied, the property owner can come back to the town with proof, the lease again, and proof that it has been occupied, and then would be eligible for that year's payment amount. And the idea is that people could participate for up to 3 years. So that is, not enough to completely build a new unit or renovate, but it's a real incentive for folks who are inclined or thinking about this or have units that they're hesitating to put on the market. We have thought a little bit about the parameters or the fine print, which is that the program would not be available for creating rentals for immediate family members. That for the time being, no matter how many units a person is creating, and we, cheer for anybody creating more, but that the program would be 1 grant per property owner so that we can encourage and support as many Newfane residents as possible. And the last question, but an important one to answer and to assure people, is that wherever the program goes, because it's a contract-based agreement, people will be protected if they rely on the town when they set up units. They will be protected and they're guaranteed participation in the program for those full 3 years. I think this is an important corollary. It's a lot less money. I understand there is $12,000 in additional funding from interest, additional ARPA funds from interest. But I think that we can use this money to invest in supporting folks creating housing and really in the success of this program. We anticipate spending money on some attorney's fees to review the proposal and then the documents, the registration form and the contract form, and kind of how it should work. We have drafts of those documents, but I think it's really important that the town's attorney review and give us feedback both on the literal fine print and also on the kind of conceptual parts of it. This would cover staff time to administer the program. I don't think it would be a ton of time, but it's important to build that into the budget and to budget for that ahead. Advertising and communication, making sure people know about this, know how to participate, when to come to informational meetings, that we're doing this. An important part of this, and really something that can benefit lots of people in town, whether or not they are participating in this grant program, is informational meetings on various aspects of becoming a landlord. So that is landlord-tenant law, how to select a tenant, eviction and concern about tenants and evictions is something that has come up constantly in our conversations about creating new rental housing in Newfane. Another question that comes up often is impact on real estate taxes. It turns out it shouldn't have a big impact, but I know that's something that folks worry about a lot. State law, there are a bunch of topics that I think would be helpful for anyone participating, but really anybody who is a landlord or considering it in Newfane, and this can be useful for everyone. We also imagine some other workshops to explore other topics related to expanding housing in town, for example, without doing a full study, just bringing someone in to talk to us all about different kinds of septic and wastewater systems. It seems like we could really benefit from that as we think about then longer term and other big picture ideas for the town. And I hand it back to you, Anne.
Great, so the last thing we just want to talk about and say, well, what if the program is successful? Basically, if we use up all the money in 3 years, is that it? And it is it for that bucket of money. But if it was something the town wanted to do, we could plan to put it into our budget to continue this kind of grant program going into the future. It would be a possibility. If the program is a bust and people don't sign up, or it just, we didn't tap into what the interest is correctly, then there's nothing that says we can't discontinue it. Anyone that we make a contract with, if it gets to that point, then we would need to honor those contracts. But then any money that was not spent, we are proposing that after 2 years, we reevaluate where we are. And if we aren't getting the kinds of interest that we had hoped we would see, that we start over, that we take the bucket of money and think about what else we might want to do with it and not continue the program if it's not working. So that was our idea, to basically give this a test run. We've spoken with other towns. No one is doing anything quite like this, but there are other similar ideas about what towns are doing. They have been successful. They're trying to do something similar in Wilmington. Rockingham has had a program of a loan, revolving loan, thank you, program for many years, and they have found it very successful. Will it work in Newfane? From my conversations with people, I think it might. Can't guarantee it, but I think as a way to respond to people's interest for wanting us to try to figure out something to do with housing, I think it's something that is sort of right-sized for our town. We don't have a place where we can just go build more housing. If individuals want to have land that they're interested in developing for more housing, we are, I think we've all said this before, we are interested in talking to anyone and having those conversations and seeing what can be done. This is really just a question of what can we do with our town money. So that's where we've come to today, and the two questions that I have for you are people supportive of this idea? And then if so, do we have your permission to take it to the lawyer to review the documents that we would need to create?
I have a couple of questions. In listening to this presentation, what I'm hearing is, yes, it's a grant, but it's more of a reimbursement once the work has been completed and you're at the rental stage. So whomever's doing it is going to have to take on the initial expense and all of those things, and then have this small amount of reimbursement. And maybe they have other grants worked in. I know there's something happening with housing for ADUs that is more substantial in that money aspect.
I understand. I'm just going to say one thing. We definitely discussed that, and the reason we sort of framed it the way we did was, how would we know that the money was going to be used to create long-term housing? If we were to give money to someone and then they turned around and used it for short-term rentals, or to bring their parents to come live with them, then would we feel like the town had used our money to create what we wanted to? So we struggled with how to ensure that the money would go for long-term housing. Is it Katie? I'm sorry, I know I cut you off.
Can I just add something? I think that's a great question, Katie. I think anyone who is planning to have like a big renovation or a big change, like this isn't money that's going to pay for a project. This is kind of a deal sweetener or an incentive. So whether it is like offsetting interest on a loan or persuading someone that they can make as much or make up the difference if they put something in a long-term rental rather than a short-term rental, the idea is that it's really incentive rather than like project money, though I do think we should add again to our list of workshops for folks, like presenting again information, inviting Wyndham and Windsor Housing Trust to come talk about grants and loan programs that are available, like for construction. This is not that scale, and that was one of the challenges with the loan program. With this pot of money, we couldn't support enough of a project who was relying on like town funding to do a project, but the idea is that it's just an incentive. And I think that it will be sweet, whenever somebody receives it, but it is a grant. It's just an outright payment. There's no condition. It's not a loan. It doesn't have to be paid back. But to get the grant, you do have to prove that you've created new housing.
Mhm.
which is why it's after, after you've actually done that.
Right, right.
The only thing that bothers me with any of it, for doing stuff like this, I mean, there's so many state regs on everything. I mean, they almost wiped out the affordable housing. And just like now, if say if I wanted the house and I want to create another apartment in it and all this stuff, I mean, do I have to put in firewalls and, they come in, the state comes into it so deep that, I think a lot of this money, I think, ought to be spent on making the state get back easier regulations to these towns to develop things like that. I mean, I know people have land that would love to build, go in and put 20 places on it. But by the time you're done in the state, it's not affordable, It's not affordable for lower income housing. And I don't know how this would work, like I said, you're looking to create some apartments, but I know they have a lot of rules against apartments, for firewalls in between the other apartments and every other stuff, and, there's just a ton of regulations that make this so it's not affordable no more, And what do we call affordable for rent anymore, that's the thing.
Just to be clear, just because you use the word affordable, we are not saying anything about that you have to make these available to lower income people, or that these have to be, quote, affordable housing as defined by the state, which is usually a certain percent of the average annual income.
Or sign up and accept Section 8 type of
Right,
things.
we're not saying any of that. We're just saying we need more housing. And in all honesty, one way that housing costs will come down is if we can increase the volume. I'm not saying just in our town, but overall, that's sort of the supply and demand side of it. But we're not saying. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Is it all right?
Okay.
No, I just said,
Okay. And I agree that in terms of the state laws, I don't know how to take that on. And, if people have individual issues they want to take on, I suggest going and talk to Emily Long, when she's at the library each month. There are so many obstacles to trying to get housing built.
My second question is this pot of money available to full-time residents and second homeowners who want to create stuff, or is it available to every single property owner in Newfane, or only full-time residents?
We wrote it that it was all property owners.
Okay.
Strictly for long-term housing.
That is correct.
But the qualification is that it has to be for like year-round, long-term housing. So, I like the idea that it would persuade some of our neighbors, whether they're year-round or part-time, to return short-term rentals into the permanent housing market. But the focus is on thinking of ways we can most quickly and easily support creation of new units here. State regulations notwithstanding, like other qualifications notwithstanding, what's the quickest way we can hopefully just like add enough of incentive that we can encourage people to do it. We heard often about folks who have units in their homes and for whatever reason no longer rent them out. Maybe this would help encourage them to do that. That's one example. Or folks who have had a difficult tenant and are sort of like, oh, do I want to do this again? Maybe this would kind of just help that. And again, it's not a plan for a huge housing development, but I think, and in the Planning Commission, we've talked a lot about incremental development and kind of, 10 units would make a real difference in our town. And the idea that we could hopefully do that while keeping, town scale, all the things that we are concerned about otherwise, but those remain the same. We think we can encourage folks to create new housing within our existing footprint. Or within our existing zoning bylaw footprint, I should say.
So have you guys talked to Katie about how she feels about doing the zoning administrator, like what that would
We did
entail?
have an initial conversation with her,
Okay.
and she's definitely totally open to the
Okay.
idea. And we'd have to get into more of the details
Right.
with her, but we're not there yet.
I just think it's important to have your,
Waiting for her time, obviously.
and I think it's important that we have you all on board. I will say, at least from the sort of planning commission and my perspective, that we have you all on board and then talk to her about this.
I'm on board. Do we need to have a motion or to move forward, or are
Oh,
we
the
all in
question-
agreement just to keep moving along on it?
The question was about whether they can go and speak to our town lawyer regarding this.
That means spending money, so that's why I wanted to bring it here first.
So
And
that's what
listen-
you're asking for right now, is to get permission to go to talk with the town lawyer about this, right?
Correct.
Yes.
I would be in favor of that. I think I still need a lot more information to move on with it, but yeah, if you want to talk to him, to have him go through it, to look it over, I'd make a motion, we could do that, or
That'd be
you guys
great.
could do that.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
I also think that having the lawyer review it will help to refine our thinking. I think he'll bring up a lot of questions and what ifs that will help us improve the ideas. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Anything further? Hearing none, all those in favor to present this to the town attorney, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, abstained, ayes have it. Great.
Great. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Thank you,
Thank you.
Kate, and to the planning commission.
Yes, thank you
All
for all your
the
hard
all
work.
of your
you've
work.
done.
I know you guys have been tearing your hair out over this for a long time now.
Thank you all, and thank you, Anne, for leading us on this and doing this amazing presentation. Anyway, thanks for hearing us, and I hope we'll have good news and documents to share and can get it rolling.
We'll put this on the next agenda if you'd like, for what, October 7th?
Definitely,
Great.
we can definitely give a status report. I don't know if we will have that.
The status report,
Yeah.
just keep us
Yeah.
updated on what's going on
Let's
and
just
where we
add
are.
it to the follow-up items, perhaps.
Huh?
Add it to the follow-up items going forward.
So what will we call it? Housing?
Housing grant proposal.
I will
Thanks,
add-
everyone.
Great.
Thank you
Thanks
so
so
much,
much,
and we're
Katie.
so happy to have you with us tonight. If there's nothing else on that, we'll move right along to our follow-up items.
We have Bauman on the phone. Would you mind if we took the town website design and did that next?
Yeah, I was just gonna bypass the town beautification because he's not here. Katie, it was just real quick. I don't think there's an update on the personnel policy.
I do not have anything further to say other than I did not get a chance to call Bob back.
I'll be talking to
before I
him
left.
this week, so if you want me to mention it to him.
I just need to schedule an appointment with him. I
Okay.
didn't get a chance to do that. He is ready to talk. I just need to pick up and do that. But
Great.
I've been away.
I will let you do that, and then now we'll go to the website.
Great. So we have Bauman on the line. Thank you so much, Bauman,
Hi,
for your
Bob.
help through all of this. As you know, we put out a RFP several weeks ago. We got back 3 responses. We got them back for our previous meeting, but we held off making a decision because Katie was away and she's been involved in this from the beginning. The 3 proposals that we got back, I was pleased that 2 of them were from folks who are in Williamsville, and a third one from a company in Brattleboro. All of them were excellent proposals, and I looked at their design. All of them have beautiful designs for other websites that they have done. So it really came down to a little bit of what did we think was the best option for us. And Bauman, do you want to talk about your recommendation and your proposal on how to move forward?
Sure. I'll just repeat what I emailed you
Sure.
a
Yeah.
while ago. So, of the 3 proposals, the one by 10F Design that's located in Brattleboro is, in my view, and happy to be proven wrong, theirs was the weakest. Their hourly rate is very high. The overall cost just for the design alone is $4,600. And I got a sense that, looking at their portfolio, there's a lot of development work, not a whole lot of design. So that's the one that I would put in third position. The other two, they're basically offering two different options. Muse Arts, which is one of the companies located in Williamsville, they're basically offering you a whole package. They will do the design, the development, the maintenance, the training, everything. I have not worked with them directly, but I know very well. I know of them. I've heard nothing but wonderful things about them. They are rock solid. They're experienced. They know their stuff, and you would be in the best of hands. The third option is this other company that's local in Williamsville. They're called Curly Sprout Creative. Great name. They are offering to do just the design work. And what that means is that they will work with you, probably with Katie and Ann, come up with a series of designs for what the website would look like on a desktop, on a tablet, on a smartphone, etc. And you'll go back and forth until you have the design, the look and feel exactly the way you want it. And not just that a pretty picture goes here, you'll choose what that pretty picture will be, and so on and so forth. Once that is done, I will take over those designs, code them into a custom theme for the website, and then convert the whole website into the new look and feel. So basically, this project entails three components: the design work, the coding of a new template, and the data migration, because we have 25 years worth of meeting minutes and agendas and notices and a lot of stuff. We don't want to migrate everything, but going through that stuff is going to take a fair amount of time. So Muse Arts, with their quote of $15,000, is offering to do the whole package. Curly Sprouts is going to do the design work for $1,500. Then I will do the coding and the data migration. And in order to...
Bon, I just want to clarify the proposal from Curly Sprout. The design only was actually $1,250, not $1,500, it's even a little bit less. They did offer two other options. If you wanted to do the design plus the staging, and third, if we wanted to do the design, the build, and the launch. So they were giving three different options of what they could do. What we had originally asked for was just the design. So
right, that's right. Again, because of the solid and extensive reputation and experience of Muse Arts, my recommendation is that if you're going to hire a development company to do the whole work, the whole design, development, staging, everything, I would recommend you go with Muse Arts, because they might be a little bit more expensive, but they're well worth it. And their work speaks for itself, and they've been around as long as I have, which makes us real dinosaurs in this business. No, seriously, I mean, they're just Curly Sprouts. They did offer some other options. I kind of focused just on the design aspect that they were offering. If you wanted to ask them to do the coding, the development, and so on, I would prefer we go with Muse Arts because of their experience and their track record. So just to finish, should we go with the Curly Sprouts design only? That would be, they said $1,250. I'm adding a teeny bit of padding because revisions are just inherent to this business. So we're just going to go with $1,500. And then just so that to take the project, from their design that you have looked and approved and you like what you see, to take that and convert it into a live website, there's a fair amount of work involved. I'm offering to do it, but I would like to hire an intern to work with me on this, to use this as a learning opportunity to build their portfolio. And I will ask the town for a total of $4,500 for my services, which will go towards paying the intern.
So that's
Thank you.
A total of 6. That brings that total then for Curly Sprout to 6,000 approximately.
correct.
Well,
What's the price of the other one?
15, and it's the total works.
It'd be everything, so Bauman wouldn't be involved at all. And then going forward, we'd be working with Muse Arts.
Oh, I would hate to know.
well, I kind of like the idea, if he's really interested in doing it, I mean, he's been doing a great job for the town anyway.
I would say stay with Bauman.
You know, and I mean, he's gonna have you the total package anyways when they're all done.
Right. I agree
I
with
just
you.
would stay with, I would like to stay with him.
Yep.
Same.
I mean, he's definitely interested in doing it, bringing on somebody else to show him the ropes. I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
We know what we've had before, he's done good with us, and
Yeah,
I just want to stay with him.
I completely agree. I completely agree.
So are we deciding this evening?
I'll also say one other reason why to continue working with Bauman is our website has so much content on it that it will be so much more efficient to work with Bauman to figure out what there is and what we want to keep and making sure that we're going in the direction that we want. Yes.
To be clear, whoever you decide to work with, I would be more than happy to work a transition and to show them the lay of the land. It's not like, okay, here you are, you're on your own, go figure it out.
Good luck.
I understand. I would actually make a motion that we accept the option A from Curly Sprout for the design only piece, and that we allocate $4,500 for Bauman's time and working with an intern to train them to complete the website for us.
Is there a
I
second?
agree 100%.
Great.
Second it.
So Ian, motion. What is it, Curly Sprout?
Correct.
Curly Sprout. 1,500,
Their proposal is $1,250.
1,250 for design
Mm-hmm.
and Bauman. And intern at 4,500.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a second? Oh, Mike seconded that, didn't he? Did you second that, Mike?
Yes, I did. Yep.
Mike, second. Discussion?
Well, the only discussion I have, like I said, we've all been happy with what he's done.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him continue on and make it what he thinks a little better, whatever he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
We've always trusted it, and I thought he's done a hell of a job. So.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree. Anything else you want to bring up, Katie?
There is some language in their application that I'm not certain with, but maybe Bauman can do this? I don't know. They said, however, the listed requirements of WordPress compatibility, responsive design, correct display on all devices, and ADA compliance indicate that our full service offering could be of help. And that seems key to me.
Is that something that Bauman would
But
do?
Bauman will do
But
the full service.
But the ADA compliance?
Yes, that's standard these
Yeah,
days.
yeah. No, this was something you mentioned in our very early conversations. You want the site to be fully ADA compliant and compatible with screen readers and whatnot, and that's totally fine. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we didn't cut ourselves short and miss out on something we really wanted.
Understood.
No, I mean after once we know sort of what's gonna happen, I will sort of lay out a plan on how we're gonna go about this. I'm gonna have a conversation with the designers to tell them specifically what I need, and then they will work with you for the creative side.
Right.
And then once all that part is done, they hand me the designs, and then I will start coding all that stuff. So there's definitely some phases to all this. I don't see why we can't have a new website done by the end of the year, probably sooner. But it's just expecting building in some time, some room for the known unknowns or the unknown unknowns. Let's say by the end of the year we'll have a new website.
Yeah, there was some significant differences in the estimated time until launch between the three different things, which is interesting to me, but people work at different paces.
All right.
Katie, also, it's in my experience, it's better to say it'll take longer and surprise people with a shorter turnaround than the other way around, than missing deadlines.
Right, and then to ask for extensions later.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a motion on the table to go with Curly Sprout for $12.50 for design and Bauman and an intern to do the rest at $4,500. Seconded. Is there any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, abstain, ayes have it. Yay.
Thank you, Bauman.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you
Shall
very
I
much.
contact Curly Sprout?
Yes, if you
Okay.
could contact Curly Sprout and then the three of you all work together with them, that'd be great.
Sounds great. Thank you very
so
much.
We
Thanks
really
for all your
appreciate
help.
Thank
everything
you.
do.
My pleasure.
Have a good evening, Baldwin.
All right, and lastly, we have FEMA buyout information.
Yes, so the quick update is that we got the testing back on the house and the store in terms of whether or not there was lead or asbestos, and amazingly, there was not.
Wow.
I know, we were all so relieved. So as a result, we went ahead and completed the bid proposal for excavating the site. That was sent out last week, and thank you very much to Katie and Melissa and Jay all worked on that because Winetta was out and unavailable, so they got it all out. There will be a site visit on September 24th. Proposals are due back on October 2nd, and then at our select board decision on October 7th, we will want to make a decision at that time. And I just
Open bids,
yes,
and we'll do that under road foreman.
sure. And I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that when we're looking at these bids, the most important quality or piece that we're going to look at is whether or not they have experience in doing these kind of projects with FEMA, because the paperwork is a bear. So that is critical that we have that experience there. That's it. It's moving along well.
I would like to just extend a big thank you to the town office group for all of their excellent help last week in trying to help get a special meeting done, posting and assisting with copying and helping me get packets ready. Carol Hasselbeck, Katie Bristol, and Melissa Brown, thank you very much for all of your help. And with that,
Has anybody heard anything on what she's doing?
we'll talk about that later. I don't want to talk about it right now, but we don't have any correspondence. We're going to go into pay orders, and I would like to thank everyone for being here tonight and the special presentations and everything. So stay safe and have a good evening, and we'll see you in a few weeks. Great.